Going back to Vietnam, Vietnam doesn't have anything. There's no such thing as autism in 1975, in year 2000, year 2001. There's no such thing. When Vietnam signed the WHO, when Vietnam signed into the International Monetary Fund, the banking system, Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation introduced the vaccination program into Vietnam. Now Vietnam has over a 300% rise in autism. And going back,
All right. So basically, this was a Vietnamese guy. Hold on, just a T Dot. What's up, baby?
What's up, bro? Can I hear?
Yes, sir. Can you good? Everything good on your visuals?
And what's going on, brother?
Oh, nothing, man. We just switched topics. We just posted about the video. But you could you want to stay in and and chime in on the next one. We cool. This about autism. We just showed a video about Vietnamese man. He was talking about how autism didn't exist in Vietnam until they joined the World Health Organization and allowed Bill Gates to come in, and said ever since then the autism rate in Vietnam has risen by 700%. And so basically we just want y'all thoughts on that. And Ben, if you want to chime in first, you can.
Bro, you talking to me?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me get everything. I ain't never been on the stream yard before, but y'all can hear me all right?
Yeah.
I got you.
Wanted to give you a little time.
Well, let me see how to make my screen bigger. I don't think it'll matter. All right, what's the topic again, brother?
The topic is about autism. Autism used as a race weapon, biological weapon. A Vietnamese doctor. We just showed the video where he was talking about autism didn't exist until Vietnam joined the World Health Organization, and when they allowed Bill Gates to come in, autism has went up 700%.
Damn.
Yeah. So we just want to know your thoughts on it. I know you have some. I know you personally have knowledge on that and biological warfare and stuff like that. And when it comes to that, so what's your thoughts on it, fam?
Man, when it comes to autism, I can say I don't know, man, because I don't know what how they was diagnosing what the issues were back then versus what they saying what it is now. I don't have a whole lot of information on autism just to be giving my opinion because I don't want to be just too far left. But
well, let me ask you this: give me your thoughts just on the health warfare in general. Now that I do know you can talk about. I know you can talk about that,
man. It's a mixed
AIDS
bag,
in
brother.
Africa, you know what I mean? ADHD in America,
Yeah, I do believe that when we talking about health issues, I feel as though I think as though the pharmaceutical industry plays a big role in how they diagnose people. But I don't know. You got to be a little more specific on what particularly because a lot of stuff can be conspiracy. A lot of things can be what I might think to be a case, but I don't know everything like that, man, because I'm not in them labs.
Well,
you got to be in them labs.
I was asking just for a general answer. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be specifically. Specifically autism. So you know what I mean.
I would say, generally speaking, brother, that people who don't have great access to healthcare are kind of told they do what they're told when they do get in front of a doctor, because they're gonna hit you with the fear factors. If you don't do this, it's gonna happen to you. That's gonna happen to you next, and they put you on prescription, put you on medication, keep you coming back. And I think most doctors, I can't say most, but a lot of doctors are more so concerned about getting those kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. And I think when you're less educated, you tend to fall victim of things like that. That's like my overall perspective on the healthcare industry and how it targets people of low income and like a low social status.
Gotcha. Who want to go next?
I'll chime in.
Everybody mute you when you're not talking, so we don't have to worry about the reverb. And then when you do want to say something, just unmute and you can speak.
We know for sure, when you're dealing with
the medical system that there's a underlying agenda behind a lot of the things they do. And I'm not saying that doctors are bad people, because a lot of people come in the health field generally wanting to help people. But doctors can only practice within their bylaws that the medical system, which is a board of motherfuckers who getting billionaires, you know what I'm saying? It's a board of billionaires telling doctors what they can and cannot do. You see what I'm saying? And these are the people who are pushing the drugs on people, like how now we got a pandemic of people who want to pop perkies and all these other things they popping. You know what I'm saying? We can go all the way back to, if you want to talk experimental wise, we can go all the way back to the Tuskegee experiment, where they were shooting black men up with diseases. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about how they went into the World Health Organization, who went into Africa, was injecting them with diseases. Allegedly, right?
Nah, that's a
Allegedly.
fact. That's a fact. They was making them infertile.
But
They was making them
I'm just trying to be on the
I know,
safe
I got
side, you know, because of YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I'm just saying allegedly. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
know,
mean?
I know.
So we have to be skeptical, you know, when we get these doctors in a room telling us something. Like my little brother. Matter of fact, he posted on the thing I seen, so I know he watching tonight, right? Me and him getting a whole blown argument one night, right? Because he's in the medical field. He's like a registered nurse or one of them. I don't know. He like a step below a doctor, right? So we get in a whole blown argument because I'm telling him most doctors don't know, they don't treat, they don't teach you how to be well. They give you something for your symptom. You see what I'm saying? And we know when you treating symptoms, you're not getting to the underlying root of the problem. You see what I'm saying? So, in a lot of the times, the underlying root of the problems, especially, I can't speak on Vietnam because I don't know, you know, exactly what's going on in Vietnam, but I can speak for black people in America. A lot of times when we have these underlying health issues, it's what we put in our body. It's the food we eat. And if you go to a doctor right now and you got high blood pressure, the doctor not gonna tell you, you know, you need to cut this out, you need to eat this. He not gonna have you a supplemental diet, because most doctors, guess what? They don't have to have a nutrition class in order to be a doctor. So he don't understand nutrition a lot of the times. But what he is gonna give you, I got a pill for this. Take this pill for your high blood pressure. Okay, this pill might got some symptoms of this, that, and the third. So here you're gonna have to take this pill to take care of this, that, and the third. And this pill gonna do this. So boom, we got this pill right here. You see what I'm saying? And so they're just adding on to it, adding on to it. For you know it, you got 20 pills in front of you, which are creating more problems. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we got to be skeptical of these doctors. So I don't doubt the Vietnamese people for saying that before Bill Gates and all these organizations came into Vietnam that the autistic level was low. I don't doubt that, not one little bit. I believe it's very much possible.
Yeah, well, it's very much a fact. I mean, you know, allegedly, historically, you know, they've been historically, you know, it's definitely documented even by the villains themselves that it's been done, you know, whether it was AIDS, malaria, Down syndrome, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one thing I can say is this: I it is so true what happened in the past, and then in a lot of ways it's happening now. I just think the fault has swung its pendulum to the actual individuals themselves. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you know, it's people who work and who can get health insurance and won't even opt in on it, right? And it's like, how do you not opt in on it? Or they feel like it's taking too much money out their check, you know. And
That's
then
crazy.
you got
That's
people who are just they're just health irresponsible. You know what I mean? You know, some of us don't even attempt to combat health. And it's a statistical fact, and I know this also. I mean, I say this from personal experience too. A lot of the sick people, at least in the Western world, they created their own sickness.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So I definitely would say, you know, to everybody out there, man, be more health conscious, develop a healthy lifestyle, workout, man. You know what I'm saying? To prevent having the doctors to give you any kind of medicine, because in a lot of times we get so sick to where that medicine is the only option, or you will die, because we pushed ourselves to the point of no return.
Went too long.
Yes, some people gotta have hard medicine. It ain't no way. It's too late. No, you need it, nigga. It's too late.
Hey, but you know what, Rock? Can you hear me? I put my earpiece in. Y'all can hear me?
Good.
Dope. Man, one thing I think is important though is it's important to go to the doctor to at least get a reference point on what they telling you.
Yeah.
You can at least find out what's wrong with you. And then from there, if they say, okay, medicine initially, you could be like, okay, I'll wait on the medicine, depending on how serious it is, to see if there's physical therapy, if there's a diet that you can increase, that you can work on. But if you don't even know like what's going on, you don't even know where to start. So you don't have to agree to the medication initially, but you can always go, well, let me figure some other alternative methods first, something that's proven before I decide to get on some medication, depending on how serious it is.
That's fact, man. And I'm gonna tell you how I know you're telling the truth. That's one of the reasons why I've never been quick to take aspirin, right? I used to work in a plant, and I ended up taking a gig out there in North Texas. And at the plant, it was a different kind of plant. It was a bunch of big steel cubicles, looked like little space modules. And what I noticed was we had to take an 8-hour class on the chemical that we was going to be working with. And we had to be covered like on almost spacesuits, hand, clothes, and everything. And it was an enclosed environment. And so what they basically taught us was that we was making the chemical that goes into the powder, which we call aspirin. So when we take aspirin, basically the powder, which is the pill that we're taking, that powder is what's holding the chemical that makes the aspirin work for us. So come to find out, guess what that chemical is? That chemical is, what it does is it sends a signal to your pituitary gland, which convinces you that you're not hurting wherever you're hurting at. Fuck me up. Right?
Mm-hmm. That shit
And
is
so
crazy.
one of the reasons why I'm not quick to take aspirin is because if you're hurting long enough, your body goes to war and it creates the natural chemicals and neurological senses go to war to fight the situation.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we end up we cheat. You know, we go get the Ozempic, you know, we take these, or we go to the doctor, like y'all saying, we get these cheats. You know what I mean?
Shortcut.
Yeah, we want to be careful with that, man. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I'll say this from personal experience. I want to say about a good, maybe 2 years ago, I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And then the doctor, at this time, I was every bit about 300 pounds. So I was pretty big guy. Yeah. So I went to the doctor, to make a long story short, and this motherfucker prescribed me damn near 9 medications. 9. I was like, you got me all the way fucked up. First of all, I was too young to be thinking of 9 medications to be taken regularly, almost daily, just so I can, suffice or survive or whatever. So I was like, you got me fucked up. So to make a long story short, I then started doing a lot of research. That headache that you talking about, there are fruits and vegetables that you can take that actually works on keeping those things maintained so that you don't have to take that medicine. See, the medicine is designed for you to get hooked, for you to have your body is to depend on it in order for them to, and that's how, of course, the doctors make their money. It's like you said, they're making their money because they're going to prescribe these medicines. These medicines are going to pay them for prescribing it to their patients. So it's all natural ways that you can do to self-medicate yourself, and it's way better. And I'm finna end it here, but in doing that, I went back to the doctor. I want to say about maybe a month later, because I told him, let me come back. I refused to take the medicine, so I said, I'll be back in a month. We're going to redo it in a month. I'm down to like 1, and that was vitamin D.
And let me add to that because I want to balance it out. Let me say this. For y'all out there watching, most doctors do care. Let's make that clear because we don't want to just villainize the doctor. Not that y'all are.
Yeah.
I got to, because at the end of the day, let's be honest. I've seen cancer outside of the hospital smoking a cigarette without the machine.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So
accountability once again.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of our tax-paying money is going to people to people who don't even care about their own health.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we, like you say, accountability, man. So and I'm proud of you too, Quality, man. The people need to hear stories like that. My son, it was a time where he was actually on like 10, 12 medications. And of course, my son have a lot of issues. He has symptoms from Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, scoliosis, had several types of seizures. He's had over 60 surgeries, still alive. And it got to the point to where I just started looking at my son. I'm like, my son, it's almost like he's a freaking experiment. So I started doing a lot of research and everything. And I end up looking for natural, holistic ways. And I end up getting him off of 7 of those medications.
Look at there. See?
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's definitely ways to do it out there, y'all, man.
Hey, I wanted to say this before we move on. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying his son, he did that, and it got to a point. He did that before it was the point where his son had to depend on those medications that doctor was giving. So that's what made it a blessing in itself, right there.
A blessing, because he's still on them same medications he was on. He not on all the ones he was.
Exactly.
Yeah. What you got to say, Ben?
I was just gonna say, man, to your point, I do also believe that most doctors do care. I think it's a combination of capitalism. I think it's a point of like when they see so many people, it becomes more like it's harder to care for so many people at the same time. Yeah. And then you got so if a doctor may in their heart feel like, man, if this person can just, exercise, change the way they eat, they may tell you that, but they also, based on what the science is going to say behind medication, like, well, this has been proven to do this based on these, and they'll give you all these different symptoms, like I mentioned before, that you got to be aware of. But a lot of people tend to ignore them symptoms and just think about, oh, well, this is going to help me get rid of this problem, but forgetting that it could be suicidal. You might have a psychotic outbreak or something. You know what I'm saying? You might develop paralysis and all these things that go on. You hear all those things, you thinking to yourself, well, man, I ain't heard about that happening to nobody else, so I should be straight. But they done told you. But when it's like, hey, on top of, this medication, like with pharmaceutical companies, man, they make money when they go sell these different, lab trials, these different prescriptions and medications that have been through these different trials. And doctor like, okay, well, I'll give it to my patient based on the research. So they may tell you the holistic ways. They also going to tell you this medication too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a combination of all that kind of rolled into one.
Yeah.
So they ain't all bad. They ain't all good, but I don't think it's all based on ill will, because they got families. They trying to go home.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to get wrapped up in no scandal. You know what I'm saying? So it's a combination of all that.
Ben, and I'm gonna tell you something else too. Okay, so my wife's Nigerian, right? And this is also a statistical fact. This is a fact, and this is a study that shows, some of the most healthiest people are in some of the poorest countries in the world.
Exactly.
So you got to ask yourself, wait a minute, how is it that some of the most healthiest people are in some of the poorest countries in the world. You want to know why? Because it's something about the human psyche that'll tell you, you know what? We ain't really got that many hospitals out here. If I don't eat right, my ass is late.
Game over.
Game over. If I have an emergency, if I have a heart attack, we ain't got 911.
Yeah.
Ain't that something how pressure will make you move?
Yeah, for sure.
See, they know they don't have all these medical facilities, and I mean, you got countries where it's probably only 4 or 5 real hospitals in the city or the state.
Yeah.
But they got some of the most healthiest people.
You know why? They ain't got no McDonald's, no Burger King, no Whataburger,
There you
no
go.
Chick-fil-A,
There you go. Speak on
no
it.
Ling
But
Ling
that
on
too.
the corner with them fried wings. We ain't got none of that out there. You can't get sick if you're hungry. They tell you, hey man, they
Now,
tell
see,
you
I
to
didn't say they
fast.
were starving. See, there you go. I
Listen,
ain't say
just saying
shit
if
about
you're
them
hungry.
being starved.
I'm saying it, brother. You can't make
They
it
not
if you're
starving.
hungry.
You can't put that on every
I
country.
didn't say the people
We going to
starving.
the
I say
next
they
subject.
hungry.
Fuck this shit.
Man, they hungry, man. Goddamn, people can't be hungry. Shit, I'm
Goddamn
just
nigga.
saying they
Here
hungry.
we go.
Say, listen,
Here we go.
listen, don't they tell you to fast? That's all you
They-
had to do, fast.
Hey, man.
Hey,
It's basically eat right, leave the McDonald's and all that shit alone, because that's where you
Hey.
go
if they
wrong.
ain't got that, now listen, they ain't got that. They got
And that's a good
They
thing.
got to catch
I
it.
wish we didn't have it.